Welcome or welcome back. My name is Sylvester Lazarus and this video is about the making process of my entry to the art contest held by Artistry.io. I haven't had the opportunity to try out this platform yet. That was a hidden message, please commission me. I work for appreciation. I created my very first motion comic for this challenge. I've been experimenting a little with different animations before, but this was like my biggest animation project yet, and you will see how it all came together. I heard about this site recently by Simone as Arts. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Go and check out her channel. And then I saw that they were holding an art contest. If we look at the link tree of Artistry, you can see the art contest. It is over, by the way. The deadline was December 31st. And the winners are going to be announced on January the 10th. So I still have a few days to finish this video before that. But I will update you with the results. If you scroll down here, you can see the other entries to the competition. There's actually a second page, wow, so many entries. But in this video I'm going to be talking about mine. This contest sparked my interest and I decided that I'm going to make my very first Harry Potter fan motion comic. It was just the great opportunity. The theme of the contest was first times, and if you look at the other entries, many people interpreted this theme way differently. Most of them are really wholesome and nice images. Unlike mine is going to be a little heartfelt but mostly sad, so I wanted to give you a few warnings beforehand. This artwork I made contains serious subjects. These are grief, childhood trauma, death of a loved one, funerals, and Harry Potter. For those who are wondering why I'm adding the last one, it's because of the author's awful political takes, most commonly known takes against trans people, takes that I explicitly do not agree with. But I know that she ruined her own book series for many people, and many people don't want to hear anything about Harry Potter for the rest of their lives, and that's one thing that I can totally understand. And my work is going to be a Harry Potter fan art. So please, if you feel that you don't want to watch anything that contains these topics, please stop watching this video, and I'm sorry that I wasted your time. Thank you for being here, and please check out my other works if you feel like it. Now, for those who are still here and listening to me, for those who don't know, slash a recap for those who do, Thestrals in the Harry Potter universe are these skeletal, winged, horse-like creatures who have a magical ability, and they can only be seen by people who have witnessed death. So literally by people who have seen someone die before. In this comic I made 3 scenes of 3 separate characters seeing the Thestrals for the first time. By the way, I make all of my digital paintings in Krita. Here's a little sneak peek to my next project. I made all of the frames of the motion comic in Krita. And by the way, I just wanted to say that Krita developers, I love you beyond words. If you know, you know what happened recently. You are awesome, and this art program is more than anything I could have ever wished for. So that was my segment of simping for the Krita devs. I made a painting of Luna Lovegood for the first scene. In the story, Harry Potter discovers that other than him, there's a girl named Luna who can also see these creatures. Later, it is revealed that she can see them because she witnessed the death of her mother, caused by one of her experimental spells going wrong when Luna was only 9 years old. We don't know any specific details about the event, but one thing is sure, that it was one of the most important moments in Luna's life, and it shaped her possibly more than anything else. On my picture, she is standing on Pandora Lovegood's funeral with her dad, tears rolling down her cheeks. She looks up beyond the edge of the canvas. Then it is revealed that she is seeing a pack of Thestrals flying over the cemetery by the reflection in the window behind them. It is Luna's first time. One little visual storytelling element that nobody is going to notice. My idea was that she's 9 and she most likely has some sort of formal clothing like a black dress, but it's not suitable for winter where my picture takes place. So she's attending the funeral in her regular blue coat, and obviously no one is going to say a bad word about that. But my idea was that she still wanted to wear a black scarf, and they didn't have just a pure black scarf, but they had many of the Quibbler merch scarf that had the first letter of the word written on it. It doesn't really add anything to the picture, but I found it to be a nice touch, and maybe it's like a relatable thing for people who attended funerals or other events in the winter and didn't have suitable clothes or something. Just these little details. The second picture is of Harry himself. This takes place at the start of the Order of the Phoenix when he sees the Thestrals pulling the carriages for the first time, which is the same scene where he meets Luna for the first time, and this takes place only months after he witnessed the murder of Cedric Diggory. And this is also before the day he learns about the true nature of the Thestrals. And that's why I felt that it was important to show his look of disbelief, that he's clueless about what these creatures are and why is it that he's the only one who can see them out of all his friends. And also that's why I animated a blink just to make the scene more impactful. Then there is the money shot where the camera turns around and the Thestral is shown. Then it looks up and his eye just shines in the moonlight, with Hogwarts itself being visible in the distance. I'm not gonna lie, I was developing the look of the creature on the go as I was creating this picture, and I ended up with a much more bird-like head than the original design, and I decided to keep it, give a little bit more unique look to my Thestrals for the comic. And that is Harry's first time. The third and final picture of the series features George Weasley after the Battle of Hogwarts. During the battle he lost his twin brother Fred, and this scene takes place only hours after that. We can also see his mangled ear on this shot because he was wounded earlier in the same novel, making him instantly recognizable that he is George and not Fred. And the sun is rising in the background after the night-long battle, and he sees the Thestral flying by the ruins of the castle. Think about how many people might have seen the exact same Thestral for the first time after the battle, but the really important person here who's lost might have been one of the greatest of all the participants, and he is George, losing his brother who he spent his entire life with, and now all his memories are coming up as he's just sitting there, and then comes the Thestral. That is George's first time seeing the Thestrals. On the time-lapse you've seen that I added texts to these images as well, and that's because I wanted to create a separate version with static images, but the static version would be really blank without the movement of the camera. So I ended up adding a few quotes to the pictures. On the first one we see Luna talking about her mother. She did like to experiment, and one day one of her spells went badly wrong. I was 9. On the second one we have Dumbledore's words from the end of Goblet of Fire when he told the students how Cedric died after the Ministry was trying to cover up the whole thing, and the attempt to pretend that Cedric died as a result of an accident is an insult to his memory. You can just feel Harry remembering these words at this moment without even knowing why he's seeing the Thestrals. Like, these must have been words that lingered with him for a long time, and it's another reminder of the death of his friend. Finally we have some quotes directly from the novels talking about Fred's death. For those who've only seen the movies, there's a scene where a wall collapses on Fred, and he's been joking around with Percy before that, and as he died his smile remained on his face, and this memory might be the one that George is playing over and over in his head at this moment. I was thinking about adding these texts to the motion comic as well, but I felt that they were really unnecessary for multiple reasons. One, it is like really distracting you from the visuals, and I would have to really paste the pictures in order for you to be able to read the text. You would need to watch it multiple times to piece together what is happening here, and also I wanted to give off the feeling of these really long, drawn out, silent moments, and in a way I wanted to show the loneliness and the grief of these characters. By the way, these are the exact frames that I used in the animation. The only thing I added was fading from one picture to the next. For example, for Luna's head to move, it was just the two pictures put side by side, and there was a fading. And I did the blurs inside Krita, and then in the video it looks like the camera actually changes focus when the focus shifts from the foreground to the background to reveal the Thestrals. And the only thing that was like classic frame by frame animation, that was the blink of Harry when he blinks as the camera is panning. But other than that, it's just purely panning effect and fading from one picture to the next. One last thing I wanted to mention is that maybe this project might have been a little morbid and a little sad for the overall tone of the contest. Even while coming up with the idea, I already knew that almost everyone else is going to touch some sort of cheerful and wholesome theme for this contest, and I wanted to be some sort of contrast to all of those. And I wanted to create this project to capture these hauntingly beautiful scenes and show the characters who are experiencing them. The sight of these creatures is something otherworldly, and oddly the only people who have the privilege of seeing them are the ones who witness the last moments of someone else. And while these memories and the mental wound is never going to be really gone, they will always remain. But the Thestrals are there to also remind of the people they lost and all the pleasant memories, and their presence might be something that helps people in the healing process. I know that most people, when they think about first times, they think about cheerful memories, they think about all the awesome things they've done, all the awesome people they've met for the first time. There are also always first times in experiencing tragedies as well. But still, this project is not about the tragedies. Otherwise, I would have painted these people witnessing the death of their loved ones and friends instead. These scenes are about the people who remained alive and who remember the ones who passed. And the Thestrals are the living, magical reminders of these experiences. I hope that you understand now why I wanted to make this project and why I chose such a grim subject. And I hope that I managed to do justice to these long gone fictional characters. With that, thank you very much for watching. This video will only be released in 2023, but I already submitted the picture before the deadline on the 31st. And as I said, the results are going to be public on the 10th, and I'm obviously going to update those of you who are going to be here to witness that. So I'm going to get back to that in one of my upcoming videos. And until then, have a nice day, do some art, even if it involves asking grim questions about death. Especially if that's a possibility, but don't forget to have fun while doing that. Farewell. My OBS just disconnected for some reason and it reconnected. It seems fine now. Please recording don't die, please recording don't die, please recording don't die, please recording don't die. I think the recording died. Dropped frames 57%. What? I don't know, maybe the recording is going to be like technically 25 or 20 FPS, I don't know. My throat is about to give up, I'm just going to record and we'll hope for the best. Nice strategy.